based on what I said in there. I'm sorry. And so when you do this, no matter where your club members are in the world, it'll set it to their proper time, so long as their computer is set to their own time zone. We actually found out that we had a member who had their own time zone set wrong, and that was really throwing them off. So, I don't need to walk you through all these different options here. You can see them, but I just wanted you to see how personalized it is, or personalizable, I should say it is. And I really like this feature, show current time indicator, right? So then you know exactly where you are. So when you're like, how did you create those views, right? Well, right here, these next few screens are where it's at. And then once I'm showing, I get done showing you kind of just the quick basics on how to set it up. Some of you are probably like, I get it, Ree, you can move on. But for those who do need a little bit more, I'll just go through a tiny bit more and then show you the workings of the calendar. So, you can set your default views, just like it says here, your default, how long do you want the minutes? I like it a little bit longer, because if I put it too long, then everything's all scrunched up and I can't read it. Hide weekends, no, right? Schedule review. This is what I wanted to show you. This is off because I simply didn't want it on there. But if I had that on there, then that would have been another option up on the right of all the different views. You just keep adding them in or turning them off. So everything is like literally whatever you want it to be. Now this one is off because for my pea brain, it's way too much. So if you can understand table view, I invite you to use it, because I bet it's great. Timeline view, agenda view, just like I showed you. So all of those things are all the things I showed you in the beginning with those views, those aren't defaulted. This is where they come from. So you can really simplify or bulk up your view options. Here's the personalized, I keep saying personalized, customizable thing, right down to the very color. So I really like that, because if you have a brand, right, or most of our clubs, we have like approved logos and such, you can have it just really match the vibe of what you're doing. All right, so here's the good stuff. The calendars. You can have up to 8 for free. If you want more, then you got to pay. And you can turn them on and off very simply, just like this. And you see it keeps saving. Whether they overlap or not, you have the choice. And who can see them? This is the other part that's important, because, for example, when I planned my professional development for my job, I needed only the organizers to be able to see certain parts of the calendar, and I needed the folks who were signing up to only have access to the thing where they could sign up, right? So that's what this is for. If you have people who don't have full access, you can see who those people are. And this is where you make the reader version. So you saw on my dashboard where there is a reader version of this calendar. Excuse me, this reader link, you can see here it produces a link. This is the one that we share with members so they can see what they need to see, but they can't go in and change anything. Now, there are different types of permissions that you can add, right? So Erica is my president, so she has modifier access just like I do, right? I'm the administrator because this is my TeamUp account. So if you were to make one, then it would say administrator next to you. So then what you can see here is there are different permissions that you can share, and then it will create the link. And so whoever you give that link to will have those permissions. That's different from actually sharing the calendar with someone through an email. It ultimately ends up functioning in a similar way. The difference is this person can log in like with a password, and the other people have to use that link. So hopefully that's not confusing. If it is, you can just put questions in there. So, you can choose the color. It has a variety. You name it. You say whether it's active, right? You kind of set these up. Click save. Now, let's just say that Oh, well, I already showed you that, so we're good. So what I want to do is walk you through how to make a new one real quick because it's that easy. So I would come here, put test, save, bam. Now I can come here, click edit, and I can just do the color, and I can decide who can have access to it. It's that simple. Can keep it or delete it forever. I'm going to delete it because I don't need it. Sorry if I'm talking fast, but I want to make sure to just show you everything, and then we can circle back if you guys need anything. So here's where I was saying there are the different ways to share. When you add a user, this is a person like how I added Erica here. She can come in here. I can give her all the same rights that I have, and that's done through her email. When you create a group, if I wanted to do this, then it's pretty self-explanatory. Then you make like a team group, and then you're basically giving everyone the same access without having to do it one by one. And let me go back because I clicked out of the settings. Sorry about that. And then the create the link. That was how I made the reader only. So if I go here to the reader only, I just named it reader because it's easier to see. People can add it to their dashboard, right? Are they admins? No. Do I require a password? No, because they can just have the link. And then you can see here the permission is read only. All right, so I see a question. Does everyone you want to be a user have a sign up for a TeamUp account, even if they just have reader only? No, so anyone who has access to the reader only, I was actually going to just show you what that looks like in a second. It literally just is a website created for that calendar. Anyone that you want to have access, you control through this sharing feature right here. So just because you asked and it's so quick to show you the way it works, I'm going to go here to my dashboard where I already have the reader one. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to open in a new tab. And you'll notice it says reader here. Because I'm an admin, I still can come in here and change things. But if I were to put this in the chat and you opened it, you wouldn't have that access. So I will put that in there, and then Janet can share it out if she wants. But the difference is for the reader is when you click it, all it's going to do is open and let you do whatever I've given you as a reader permission to do. So what I'm going to do is actually create an event to show you, all the different features that you can do in there. And then you'll be able to see what it looks like for me, and you'll be able to see what it looks like for you, right? So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to year because I want to set an event for September 11th, right? Let's say I'm going to set, what do you call it? Shoot, it just escaped me. The event that we do on September 11th. Day of Remembrance. Thank you. Just came to me, right? So I'm going to put Day of Remembrance. Hopefully I spelled that right. Whether it's all day or not, no. I'm going to go ahead and pick, 1300. I have mine set to military time because I hate when I accidentally click AM when it's PM. But that's your option, right? You can have it repeat, and then just like kind of a standard calendar, it has the different options. You can do it, forever, cut it off. So when it comes to observances, that's when I put it annually, right? Forever, because it's kind of the way that works. But I don't want this to repeat. And the calendar, well, this is going to be a club event that we're going to host. So I'm going to put it on this, right? But let's just say that we were going to also be in conjunction with an AP US event. Well, then when I click this, it will show it on both calendars simultaneously or individually, depending on how you have it turned on or off, right? The who, this is up to you. This can be who you want your audience to be, or it can be who's speaking. It just depends on how you want to communicate it, right? So for this, I'm going to say everyone because I want all club members to come, right? I would put the Zoom information here for our club. And then here you can personalize how you want it to look with headers or just basic paragraph events, right? To remember, right? Where, let's say we weren't an online school and we were going to have an actual location, you can put an address, which can then take them to a link on a map, and you can even upload photos and attachments in here, right? So I'm going to click save, but then I'm going to go back in. So here's where you can see that it's showing on both calendars because I have both of these calendars visible right now. If I wanted to, I'm going to go back to month, and you can see it here. It has both colors. But let's say I have a whole calendar of different events and I only want to find my club events, right? Let's say it's just crazy cluttered. I can just come here and turn on and off whichever ones I want to turn off, right? So this, basically hides it or shows only that one. So if I want to see only those, I would just turn all these others off. And you see how the blue just disappeared. It didn't remove it from that calendar. It just took the view of that calendar away. So I could turn it back on and it would do the stripe thing. In the settings, remember where we could have it striped or we could have it side by side? If I had chosen side by side, it would just show it here twice, and they would be in those block colors. So my favorite thing about this as a color learner, as a person who absolutely needs color to make sense of anything, that type of feature is super helpful for me. If you hate color, you don't have to use different color. That's the great option. So now that I've created my event, this is one of the best things, the share option. If you click share as a page, it physically creates its own URL for that event. And, it has the nice thing, because I didn't put too much in here, it doesn't have all the photos and all the info, but anything that I would have put there, it would have. And then you see it has all these fancy calendar links. So when I create an event and I want to share it out, this is the way I share it, just because it looks pretty, right? And people don't have to use TeamUp to access it. The other awesome option is, besides all of these ones that are pretty self-explanatory, is you can send it to another TeamUp calendar. So especially when I was in several clubs at one time and I was, going to put, let's say, the Day of Remembrance as like an annual repeat, I could just then copy it. And let's say I'm going to take that and I'm going to throw it over here into this calendar. Well, it immediately will open up that calendar for me, and it will let me pick which calendar I want to put it on, right? So let's just say for this one, it would be, which one would that be? Because this is a totally different calendar that I use. I'll just put it here, and then I can fill in any additional information if I want to. But you see it retains the date and time. I can click save, and now that event will be on this calendar as well. So if I come over here to September 11th, bam, there it is on my DEIA calendar, just like that. So if you end up having one of these and you happen to be part of multiple clubs, that's another super awesome feature. The other thing that, besides all this embedding and all that, the other thing that's pretty great is you can have people sign up for your event, right? So you have to create that option. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click enable, and you can put a deadline or you cannot put a deadline. Usually the deadline is going to be by a default to the actual time of the event. When I was doing our professional development, some of the rooms could only host 10 people. So you have to cap it at 10 people. Or if it's online and there is no cap, or let's say you're using Zoom and it's, 350, you just key that in. And then users with modified permission or all users. So what that means is if I put all users and I put this for you to sign up, then when you sign up, you can see all the other names of everyone who has signed up. If I don't click that and I just put users with modified permission, all it does is let you, sign up. You can't see who else has signed up, and it'll say, thanks for signing up. So this is a super great option for regulating who can attend the events. They might be able to see it, but they can't sign up, right? Unless you want them to. Or the other thing is, let's say someone accidentally registered, 3 times because they can't see that they did. You can simply go in there and delete them off because you have the option to do so. The other thing here, comments, this is great because you can turn this on. So if I put all users, and then if I say, let us know if you have any, let's say there's going to be a seminar and you want people to submit questions beforehand, that's a great use for this comments thing. So then when people sign up, they can add their comments in there, right? So I'm going to click save. And then I'm going to go back in here. And I'm going to click share. I'm going to close these other ones because I don't want to confuse myself. I'm going to click share as a page. So I want to make sure I have this nice updated link. And then I'll put this in the chat so that you can open it up and see it on your own. I just realized I can send it to everyone. Sorry about that, Janet. And so then if you want to, you don't have to, but if you wanted to, you could click on that right now and you could sign up, and then it's basically in real time. So as soon as you do, then if I come back in here, I can look and I can see who has signed up. So here's going back, I wanted to kind of show you the way the scheduler looks. You can see that they're overlapped there. But if I go back in here to my settings, let's just say, oh, that stripe, I don't know, it hurts my eyes, or it's too confusing for me when I have, more than one calendar showing. You just come right here, click multiple boxes. It's saved already, right? It's pretty quick. I go back to calendar. Get back to September. And now they're separated out because I'm in the scheduler. If I go to day, you see how they're side by side? Month, now it's just listed twice. Agenda, it's listed twice, but you can see that they're color coordinated. So the same thing, if I were to hide that one, it just simply disappears. So the customization is pretty astounding for a free calendar, right? So let's say I'm here and I created it. This has happened and I put it on the wrong day by accident. I forgot to change the day, so then I can't find it. I can come here, put in a search. Sorry, I clicked it too many times. And it should take me there. Of course, now that I'm trying to show you, it's not working. Oh, well, filter's going to make a liar out of me. That's okay. You can try it. I'm sure it will work for you when you're not live and actually actively recording something. So you can see here, there's add and edit from here also. Before I showed you from the settings, you could also just come right here and do it directly. And it'll take you right to this same page. So the last thing I want to for sure show you, excuse me, before I run out of time, is the additional customization that you can do when you make your events. So where I clicked was over here on event fields and show deactivated fields. I like that because if not, if it hides it, then I'll forget what my options are. So remember when we set it up, it started with, you know, who, the website. Well, I put that there, right? So I have the website up pretty high because that's normally where I'll put our Zoom link. And then I say what it is. This where, I don't even have to have that on because we don't usually have in-person events. So if I want to turn that off, it just simply hides it, right? This sign up, remember how I showed you how you can sign up? It's because I already have it turned on, but that's also pretty customizable. So you can set up, you know, the deadline to where they can only sign up until a certain day. After that, it'll just say the sign up is closed. And then again, the maximum number was off, but you saw that it let me turn it on within the event. So if you're scheduling different events and some have deadlines or maximums and some don't, you don't have to come back here to the settings every time. This is just kind of what sets your default, if you will. So let's say we're going to plan like a potluck, right? And we want people to bring certain things. Well, that's a great use for the comments because people can sign up and say, I'm bringing bread or I'm bringing fruit or I'm bringing whatever. Or you could also have it specifically in the different sign up sections. Like you can create different sign up options. But honestly, the comments do the job. It's pretty simple. So every single one of these is here because I added it and I edited it. So you'll see here, it's grayed out because I have added the maximum number of editable or specialized fields with this free account. If you want it to be more elaborate and cool, then that's where you'd have to pay. But I mean, really, what more information really do you need, right? All right, so notifications, that is super self-explanatory. You can import events, you can export events, and then if it still isn't enough for you, you can come here, do a free trial, pay, and then have even more features, which again, I don't do because the free version works just fine for me. And so with that, I want to pause and see if anyone has any questions or anything you'd like me to walk you through. That filter wasn't working, but this one will work. So I'm going to say starting from, oh, that's fine. So if I click search, remembrance. I'm just playing with this while I wait to see if anyone has any questions. Do you feel this is all the dashboard you need? Considering it's free, there we go, it finally worked. See, it just brought those up because I put in my keyword. Considering it's free, I think it's pretty great. I even used it for a while with my son, and we used it as like our family calendar. And the only reason I stopped is because, you know, when you get things into like Google, it's too much work to try and import it into here because I have had an RS feed or whatever it's called to where I had other calendars and they were all showing up in one at once. The reason I actually stopped using that is because let's say I import my Gmail account. And so it's, another calendar. It will show here, but every single event in the Gmail will be, let's say, yellow. And so I can't color coordinate it according to whether it's, his event, my event, school event, or whatever. It would just be from the Gmail. I was like, man, so that kind of, it kind of took away that feature that's so important to me as a color person. But you can absolutely import other calendars as well. So as far as the dashboard, this is the dashboard here. So let me go to it just to make sure I answer your question fully. All the dashboard is it's the spot where you can select the different the calendars. I want you to notice this one. See how it says read only? Because this is not my calendar. This is one from my job that our professional development. Actually, this is the professional development. So let me show you a calendar that I don't own. So I can still turn off what I want to see, but I can't edit anything on this calendar. All I can do is see what's going on, right? So let me show you. This is kind of a little bit more developed invitation. You can see it has that, and you can see that someone had signed up. This one I also don't own, so it's going to, looks like they don't have too much of it, but they have all of these here. You see how those are locked? That's because I'm just a viewer for this. So these are only read only. That's what it looks like when you don't have access to change it. Any other questions? I know one question I had is how many calendars can you make? And I've made 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and I have all these others, and it still would let me make more. So I have no idea how many total. I guess I'll find out if I reach that point. Let me show you the Active Minds one just real quick, because I think I do have a lot of awareness stuff on there, so you can kind of see how that looks, because I put a lot of time and energy into that. So normally what I would do, for example, is on the first of the month, you put all the different things that are kind of, observed or celebrated that month. And then what I would do is I would just link them. So I'd be like, oh, it's African American Music Appreciation Month. Cool. And then I can click the link and it'll take me to whatever I put in there. What options would I add if I could? I would immediately add a notification by text. I am not a fan of an inbox full of emails, and the only option it has for this free account is a daily email, either a daily email agenda or an alert. And I do not like emails, so that would be the first thing. Now, I'm sure if I paid as an upgrade, sorry about that noise, they're outside. If I paid for an upgrade, then it would probably have that option. But if I show you the preferences here, so I have 0 reminders turned on for myself because I don't want it. It has a daily agenda option, but again, I can only get it via email. And I don't want to pay. So there you go. If you use Slack, it does have that integration, but you have to pay for that. And of course, the other calendar feeds. Push notifications coming soon. I will say, which I haven't touched on, the app works like a charm. You can do every single thing on the charm that you can do here on the website. So, maybe once push notifications come, I might start using it again for my personal calendar. But right now it works great for our club members because we publish it on here. So for example, in July, here's our Zoom. And then once we have the agenda, we'll put it here. If we have a guest speaker, we'll have a link to their website or their bio. If we do a podcast, chat, we'll put it in there. We have a guest speaker probably coming on this day, and you know how it is when you're planning for your club. Sometimes the dates are hard and sometimes they're tentative. I'm going to go on mute in case that's loud for you. Any other questions? Janet, are attendees allowed to unmute or is it only by chat?
I can unmute them if anybody wants to unmute. Or they can drop questions in the chat or they can use the Q&A feature.
All right. While we are waiting to see if anyone, can you hear that noise? I feel so bad. It's loud for me.
No, can't hear anything.
Oh, perfect. Okay. They're like repaving right outside my apartment. Okay. Did you say you can add things like pictures, etc., and a block date? Yes. Okay. So let's create an event. And I'm gonna just call it test 2. It can be all day, that's fine. I'm gonna put it on an observance and I'm gonna go here and I'm going to put so I'm gonna put this link in there real quick. And then I'm going to go to images. I'm gonna just grab a picture. Oh, that's interesting. There we go. So I'm going to snag this picture. Sometimes this is one thing I've noticed. Sometimes it'll let you straight up copy a picture and sometimes you have to paste it a different way. Bam, right there, right? So you can upload a file if you want. And then when you click save, when someone goes to open that, again, it won't look like this for them. Because I'm the editor, this is what it looks like. But if I come here and I click share as a page, again, I like this one because it's, prettier, then it will have the photo. And again, literally whatever you key in there, it will show up here for you. So for example, one time yeah, it's nice. One time I set up, I was, sorry, I got all fumbled on my words. I organized Black History Month for the Air Force this year, and I considered using this to tell everyone. And so I had set it all up, and then I ended up doing something different. And I was so sad about it because I had, the pictures of the museums and everything looked so nice. And I was like, no one's ever going to know how fantastic this is. And just as easy as it is to create, it's just as easy to delete. So I think that considering it's free, if your organization or honestly your family, or if you have like other volunteer things you do, if you don't have something where you can bring everyone together to see the information, or for example, you can link this to your website as well, right? So that's the other thing I was going to show you, but I have to use Active Minds because we don't have a website for Criminology Club. Let me see. Active Minds. I want to say it's called APUS Active Minds. Let me see. Here we go. All right, so if I click here, you can embed the calendar as well. And so this was when I originally had set it up for Active Minds. Now I believe Olivia is the president. She's amazing. That's why this website is so beautiful. So when you click here, you can see that this is the TeamUp calendar. And when you embed the calendar, you get to choose which view is the default. But see, me here as a user, I can come here and I can just see what's going on just this week, or the scheduler, or just this month, right? So you saw that other calendar. This is the same thing. And again, because I am the admin, my what do you call it, dashboard is here, but you can see this is the reader link. So it's super cool for your club, especially if you have a website. And here is proof of that. And then here's the link that would take you straight to the calendar. So there's that. Any other questions? I just don't want to go over time. So I want to make sure I'm keeping in time, Janet. I think at the end of the day, if you try it and you're like, this is amazing, use it. If you try it and you're like, meh, I don't like it, what have you lost, right? It's free. And because the clubs, well, you can have a website and you can have, if you don't have a website that you pay for, this calendar is communicative. So this can function as the website for your club, and you can communicate really anything that you want. I do not believe this is a Microsoft product. I admit I have no idea who owns it. It might be. That's a good question. But I don't believe it is, because they have Outlook as their calendar, and then Teams, of course. Any other questions? If anyone's interested in criminology, by the way, I might as well plug our club. We do different podcasts listening. So where we say which podcast we're going to listen to first, and we do all kinds of different ones, not just true crime. And then we all come together and have a chat about it. That's always a fun conversation. Or like, for example, we teamed up with the Read Club, and they happen to do true crime that month. And so we discussed the true crime book. And then one of the things I did is I went through and I tried to research like different seminars and conferences and stuff associated with the club. That's another thing you can do for your club, right? Because it's great for one-way communication. It shares with your club members the things that are out there that they might not, know exist. So it's just super helpful. And then again, organizing it by calendar instead of everything just being the same thing or the same color. You as the creator and admin, you can set it up for them to view what you want them to view. And then as a user, I also can change my views and stuff. All right, already a member of the Crim Club. Let's go. All right, so that's all I have, Janet. If no one else has any other questions, I don't need to just keep on gabbing.
Great. Well, thank you very much for this. It was really helpful, and excited to give TeamUp a try. So thank you all for being here. The recording will be available in a few days, and we'll post it in the President's Roundtable. Again, apologies for starting the recording late. But otherwise, I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday.
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you, Janet.